these things, al-ghayra, protectiveness over their womenfolk. Protectiveness over their womenfolk. Al-Mawridi rahimahullah ta'ala, he said in his book, Adab al-Dunya wa Deen, he said, may Allah have mercy upon him, that when he was mentioning the reasons, he was talking about the causes for unity between people. And he mentions that they are the religion, and the religion itself unifies people. And what unifies people in general is religion, the religion that they possess and that they practice. And blood ties, familial blood ties, being married, being related by marriage, being related by marriage, as-sadaqa, friendship, and al-ihsan, and kindness to others. And he says that these things are necessary to bring about unity in a society. Otherwise, a society of people cannot continue to exist in this dunya, right? Without these things. So when he talks about the second thing, which is blood ties, and how people go about getting married, he discusses the reasons why people get married. Not the reasons why they should, but the reasons why people get married. And he mentions the first reason, which is intercourse, relations, right? And he says there's no doubt it's important, but it's the weakest and least important reason to get married. He said, and people who marry for this reason, divorce for this reason. People who marry for this reason, divorce for this reason. Then he mentions something about the Jahiliyyah of the Arabs and the ghayra that they had for their woman. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. He said, rahimahullah ta'ala, and the fact that men marry and divorce women, ibtidhalan, using and abusing women for the purpose of intimacy. For the purpose of intimacy is the reason why the Arabs used to bury their daughters alive so that their daughters would not be used and abused. Let me drop the mic. You can go home on that. It's the reason that they used to bury their daughters alive. The reason that they used to bury their daughters alive is out of makhafat al-ar, out of fear that their daughters will be disgraced. And they had that type of honor, that type of izz, that type of dignity, that they did not want to see their daughters disgraced. For those of us that are fathers of daughters, especially if our daughters look like our wives, the concept should be easy. The concept should be easy of treating somebody's daughter like you would want somebody to treat yours. I don't care if the man is a kafir. I don't care if he's a drug addict. You treat his daughter like you would want somebody to treat your daughter. It's a serious affair. Look at your daughter. If your daughter looks like your wife, and imagine the next time you go to hurt the feelings of your wife, somebody hurting your daughter's feelings. Imagine your daughter who's going to learn a lot of qualities that she's going to carry into her future from her mother. It's very likely that she may find herself in some of the same situations. And the patience that you will want somebody to show your daughter is the patience that you should show to your wife. Because it's going to reciprocate itself. It's going to come full circle one way or another. You tell it to your children, right? When the child mistreats the child right underneath them, you say that that's going to be passed on to the next child. They're going to learn how to mistreat their younger sibling, and they're going to pass that down, right? And so it's a cycle. It's a cycle of either productivity or counterproductivity. It's something that's either going to benefit us in the future or harm us in the future. But think about this. The ghayra of the Arabs. The protective jealousy of the Arabs over their womenfolk. The protective jealousy of the Arabs over their womenfolk. That this is the misguided steps that they took. Not like today you have widespread abortion, so on and so forth, because people are selfish, right? Because people are selfish and they don't want to be locked down with the child, and the girl want to have a career, and so on and so forth. 1,001 stupid reasons of why these women out here are killing their babies, right? That's their Jahiliyyah. The reason that the Arabs were doing that, the reason that the Arabs were burying their daughter alive is because they didn't want their daughters to grow up to be disgraced. And so, what was good, because character, good qualities, and he can be used by the shaitan, exploited by the shaitan, he can find vulnerabilities within them to make them go in the other direction, right? To make them harmful, to make them blameworthy qualities. So a person can take a quality like protectiveness over your woman folk, and he can take it too far, right? And so that's what happened with the Arabs. The shaitan came to them, and he beautified this to them. And it was something that they were humiliated about in Jahiliyyah, to the point that it was reported by a Darimi, rahmatullahi alayhi, from some of the Sahaba who had committed al-wa'ad, and he had committed the act of burying their daughters alive in Jahiliyyah, which was done in 2 ways. Who knows the 2 ways that they used to bury their daughters alive? The first way is what would immediately come to mind, that the child comes out the womb as a female, and they take it and immediately bury the child alive. The second is that they would wait till the child was 5, 6, 7 years old. Think about this. Think about how barbaric that is. And they would get the child all dressed up and put earrings and everything on her and so on and so forth. And they would take her to the edge of a well and they would push her in. And they would walk away while she was crying, Ya abatahu, Ya abatahu. Oh my father, where are you going? Help me. It was reported, a Darimi mentioned from some of the Sahaba, that they said that they felt compelled to do, to excel in righteousness after accepting Islam for having done this in Jahiliyyah. To show that they felt remorseful, even though we know Islam, yajubbu ma qabla. Islam erases everything that comes before, right? But they felt so guilty about that. But they felt so guilty about it that they felt compelled to excel in Islam, to do as well as possible in Islam for the crimes that they had committed before Islam. But this quality is extremely important, because it's what made them what? Suitable to receive Islam. It's what made them so successful. These are the qualities that made them so successful. The qualities we're mentioning is what made them so successful once Islam came to them. Right? This protectiveness that they had over their womenfolk. This concern that they had for the well-being of their daughters and so on and so forth, and their mothers and their sisters and the likes of these things. Tayyib. And from those qualities was husnul diyafa, hosting people well. From those qualities was a shaja'a, courage, and as we mentioned, truthfulness and genuineness. And so when Islam came to the Arabs in the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was these qualities that they had possessed before Islam that caused them to spread Islam to the ends of the earth.